Hello and welcome to this soundbite episode of Marketing Margaritas. So this is one of our little shorty episodes, and today we're going to be talking about getting started with ChatGPT. So this is something I'm assuming most people have heard of by now, but I was actually recently in a workshop and we were talking about ChatGPT and half the room had never heard of it. And whereas I feel like it's something that's been like in my news feeds and conversations and stuff all year. So I thought, you can't assume that everyone knows what you do. And so I thought I would do a little bit of a getting started guide for our Marketing Margaritas watchers. So ChatGPT is basically an AI tool, which is artificial intelligence. So it's just like this handy little robot that you can talk to and who can help you out when you feed it certain questions, etc. Which kind of makes it sound like it's a physical thing, but it's not. It's just like a website that you go to. There currently is still a free version. And so when you go to it, you just create a free account, which, I mean, you have to create an account for everything these days, but it is useful because it actually saves all of your previous conversations and searches, etc. So you can click back through and find things that you want. We'll obviously have links in the show notes to actually access ChatGPT too. Okay, so basically when you're starting out, the way you're thinking of it is that ChatGPT is meant to be something you can have like a conversation with. So you're asking questions, and then if you don't quite get the answer, or you might get a really good answer to start with, that's fantastic. But if you don't quite get the answer, you can keep sort of probing and getting it to refine and work on the answers until you get what you want out of it. So now that I've given that super clear overarching view of it, I'll give you an example. So one thing you can do when you're first starting out, well, I've got 3 little things that you can try when you're first starting out, and there's so much more you can do with it, but just to get you past that first hurdle of realizing how useful it can be. So the first one is take a recent, say, social media post or email that you've written, copy and paste it into ChatGPT, and ask ChatGPT to make your email or your post more fun or more engaging or more dynamic or more whatever you want it to sound like, and it will rejig what you've written with that directive in mind. So it's really helpful in like fine-tuning what you've written. Another good exercise is to actually copy and paste in, say, a longer form piece of content like a blog, and ask ChatGPT to check it for spelling and grammar, as well as you can ask it to say, like, write a conclusion for it, or make the conclusion flow better, or add in subheadings, or whatever it is, again, that you might want to improve what it is that you've written. My last little getting started exercise is something I've forgotten, so I'm gonna look at my notes. Oh, you can actually ask ideas to get your content going. So for example, I was looking for ideas on what to do the podcast about. I was really tired, it was like the end of day, etc. So I might type in, what are 10 podcast ideas for marketing in regional Queensland? And it'll spit back at me 10 ideas. And then I can either choose one of those, or I might go, oh, give me 5 other options for number 2. And so it'll rejig what it's done and basically just give me more and more answers based on the information I put in. There's a whole lot more to it. Obviously it's something you can definitely play with yourself. There are freebies and prompts and stuff about how to use it. We do training on it, and we're also working on our own little kind of guide to how to use it, etc. But it's something I just recommend having a go with, because you'll probably find yourself falling in love with it like we have. But my wrap-up tip here is a big one, is that I think it's always important to remember that as useful and as clever as tools like ChatGPT are, they're not as good as you. So AI needs us to make it the best it can be. On its own, it's not going to, be able to bring the same experience, background, knowledge, memories, personal anecdotes, lived experience, etc. that you do. So you're the one that brings the human element, and AI is just like this handy little helper, especially when you're tired and it's the end of the day. So highly recommend that you check it out. Cheers. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Marketing Margaritas. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, ask if you can please share, subscribe, and leave a review to help us reach even more people who have a passion for marketing and the occasional margarita.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Marketing and Margaritas. Find more free marketing tips, tricks and laughs at rebelnation.com.au.